Disclaimer: the information in this podcast is for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice, and it is not a substitute for professional guidance from a qualified healthcare provider. Always consult your doctor or medical professional before making decisions about supplements, peptides, or any medical treatments. Today we are diving deep into two fascinating peptides, BPC-157 and TB-500. These two are often talked about together because they both have powerful reputations for healing, repair, and recovery. For the next few minutes, we will explore what they are, how they work, what research says, how people use them, and why so many in the performance, longevity, and medical communities are interested. Let's start with BPC-157. The full name is Body Protection Compound 157. It is a peptide originally isolated from gastric juice. Researchers discovered that it played a role in protecting and healing the lining of the gut. Since then, it has been studied in animals and has shown effects beyond the stomach. BPC-157 has been linked to accelerated healing of tendons, ligaments, muscle tissue, and even nerve damage in experimental models. One of the unique features of BPC-157 is its ability to regulate blood vessels and angiogenesis, which is the process of forming new blood vessels. This means that it may help bring more circulation and nutrients to areas that are injured. It also interacts with nitric oxide pathways, which can further improve healing and blood flow. Some animal studies suggest that BPC-157 reduces inflammation. It seems to protect cells from damage, and in rodent models it has helped heal gut ulcers, tendon ruptures, and even burns. There are also studies showing it can help with the side effects of medications like NSAIDs, reducing stomach damage. Now, in the real world, people who experiment with BPC-157 often talk about tendon injuries, ligament tears, or nagging chronic pain. They report quicker recovery, less inflammation, and faster return to movement. Some also explore it for gut health, since it is closely tied to its origins in the digestive tract. When it comes to dosing, people have used BPC-157 in a variety of ways. Some use it as subcutaneous injections near the site of injury, while others take it orally. The oral version is interesting because it may still survive digestion and act locally in the gut. Injections may be preferred for musculoskeletal repair. Exact doses vary, but the experimental range people mention is usually in the microgram amounts per day. Now, let's bring TB-500 into the conversation. TB-500 is a synthetic version of a natural peptide called thymosin beta-4. This peptide occurs naturally in most tissues of the body and plays a role in cell migration, differentiation, and repair. Researchers became interested in thymosin beta-4 because of its ability to mobilize cells to sites of injury. TB-500 is a lab-made version designed for research. TB-500 has been studied for its wound healing effects. In animal models, it accelerated tissue repair, reduced scar tissue formation, and helped regenerate muscle fibers. It also seems to promote angiogenesis, like BPC-157, meaning it encourages the growth of new blood vessels to injured tissues. This is critical for recovery because blood flow is what delivers oxygen, nutrients, and immune cells to healing areas. Another interesting aspect of TB-500 is its potential impact on the immune system and inflammation. Some studies have suggested it helps regulate immune responses, preventing excessive inflammation that can delay healing. It has even been studied in eye injuries, heart repair, and skin wounds. In practical use, TB-500 is often injected subcutaneously or intramuscularly. Research experiments typically involve milligram-scale doses given a few times per week in cycles. Again, this is experimental and not medical advice, but it is how people in research settings talk about its use. So what happens when people combine BPC-157 and TB-500? Many believe that they complement each other. BPC-157 may directly influence tendon and ligament healing, while TB-500 encourages cellular migration, repair, and blood vessel growth. Together, they could theoretically create a more complete healing environment. Some athletes and biohackers have reported dramatic recoveries when using both, especially for hard-to-heal injuries. However, it's important to note that most of this is based on animal data and anecdotal human reports. Clinical research in large human trials is still very limited. That means we cannot say with certainty how effective or safe these peptides are in humans. They are still in the research stage and regulation varies by country. Let's take a closer look at mechanisms. For BPC-157, researchers have found it modulates growth hormone receptor pathways. This could be part of why it accelerates tissue repair. It also interacts with serotonin and dopamine systems in the brain, which could explain reported effects on mood and even addiction in animal studies. For TB-500, one of the big mechanisms is actin regulation. Actin is part of the cytoskeleton inside cells. It is what cells use to move and shape themselves. TB-500 promotes actin polymerization, which is the process of building actin filaments. This makes cells more mobile, which is essential for healing because cells need to move to the wound site. In terms of safety, both peptides have shown relatively low toxicity in animal research. But again, without large-scale human studies, long-term safety is unknown. Some people report side effects like fatigue, headaches, or injection site irritation. Others report no issues. Since these are research compounds, medical oversight and caution are always recommended. Athletes have been especially interested in TB-500 and BPC-157. Stories circulate of professional fighters, football players, and bodybuilders using these peptides to come back from injuries more quickly. Some even say they were able to avoid surgery. But again, these are stories, not controlled clinical evidence. Both peptides raise interesting questions for longevity and anti-aging research as well. If they can encourage tissue repair and reduce fibrosis, could they help maintain function in aging muscles, tendons, and organs? This is an area many scientists would like to explore more deeply. When comparing the two, BPC-157 is often described as being more targeted for tendon and gut healing, while TB-500 is seen as more systemic, encouraging broader repair processes. This is why many protocols combine them. Another area of research for TB-500 is cardiovascular health. In animals, it has been shown to protect heart tissue after heart attack, reducing damage and improving recovery. This ties back to its effects on blood vessels and angiogenesis. With BPC-157, some fascinating rodent studies show it may even help heal the brain and nerves. There are reports of it protecting against traumatic brain injury and promoting nerve regeneration. While far from proven in humans, this opens the door to potential neurological applications. As we near the end of our exploration, let's reflect on the big picture. Both BPC-157 and TB-500 are peptides with remarkable healing potential shown in preclinical studies. They both act on different but complementary pathways. They are widely used in experimental and underground settings, but human clinical trials are lacking. That means they remain intriguing but unproven tools. For anyone curious, the responsible approach is to stay informed, consult medical professionals, and be cautious. Research is ongoing, and it will take time before we have definitive answers on how safe or effective these compounds really are. Disclaimer: this podcast is not medical advice. It is for educational purposes only. Always talk to your healthcare provider before making decisions about peptides or medical treatments. Thanks for listening, keep learning, and stay curious.